Happy Thursday. Thank you guys for joining this awesome live. And those of you who are watching this later, this live is about CBC. And I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to just chat with Daniel from Georgetown Hemp. He's a really great individual who has been helping me over the past year to not only heal myself, but to be educated. And one of the things I love about the shop is that I do custom formulations for those of you who are looking for something more than just CBD. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to just sit down and talk briefly about CBC, right? And what it does for the body. I have some of my notes here, and then we'll get into more details on like custom formulation and things you can do to help you. Because you guys know one of the things I love is just educating, and as I'm in pain, I'm continuing to find ways to heal myself, just above and beyond just regular CBD. Thank you all for being here. I see cannabis lotions, Pro CBD, Bloom Health, Meadow Mountain. Thank you for being here. Cannabis lotions, Phelan Ray, Apollo CBD for dogs. Thank you guys for just being here. I really appreciate it. So if you have any questions, for those of you who are here live, please ask them below, and we'll be able to get them. Hey, brother, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you? Good morning. Good afternoon.
I'm in a little pain. It's been raining a lot here, and so my wrist's been extra sensitive. It's been also like swollen, so I've been vaping like CBG and CBD flowers since yesterday, trying to get some of this inflammation. But it just, life. It's always like this as it rains more, and as winter and spring comes, it always flares up.
Yeah, same with me. With my EDS, it flares my carpal tunnel when it's raining and really moist. So I could sense it, as I'm sure you can, before it's coming on. We're like barometers telling the weather with our hands. But yeah, we need to get you back out here, man. Work on your hands, and we got some cool new stuff. Check out this product we just got in here.
What is that? I can't see. I can't read it. It's
great CBD reviews in a bottle, because you got to have that on your shelf.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll talk about Delta 8 in the second Count of Kings, but I know I want to just talk about CBC real quick with Daniel, so that then we can get into like the banter back and forth. So for those of you who don't know, CBC is been, from my research, I love the fact that we're getting so more in depth in all these different cannabinoids, right? And so, for example, CBC has anti-tumor, antiviral properties, right? It also have heavy sedative effects. So, some of the things that I've been researching is antimicrobial, right? Fights bacteria and fungi. Antiviral, they're looking into research on that. Anti-inflammatory properties. And so, for those of you who have swelling like me, in my joints, also in the intestinal tract, there's been research done for that. CBC appears to fight inflammation without activating the cannabinoid receptors. So that right there was a big thing for me, just to see that. So it's really wonderful to see what CBC can be done, right? It says it produces a strong effect when combined with other cannabinoids. It's also analgesic, which is just reduces the pain. It fights by interacting with several targets involved control of pain at your spinal column. So like those of you who have spinal injuries, the researchers are looking into CBC for you. It's also looking as an antidepressant. It stimulates brain growth, and then it inhibits the growth of cancerous tumors. And for those of you with migraines, it looks to be a really good remedy. So I know you do a lot of custom formulation, right? And you, what's your experience with CBC?
So first of all, this is the coolest job in the world, isn't it? That we get to talk about these things and work with cutting edge phytochemicals that are new to the industry that we didn't have the ability to work with before. So CBC has always been on my radar. I saw it as being one of the more versatile, well-rounded cannabinoids that work in many different ways, right? You mentioned a lot of correct information, a lot of good stuff. I covered most of it. But like you said, it doesn't have CBC, pentyl cannabichromine does not have an affinity for our CB1 or CB2 receptors. That, when cannabinoids bind with those receptors, is when we get that psychoactive effect, why you feel THC, why CBN can be felt as well. By the way, we're in my retail store, so if you hear a ding, that's the door opening. But so back to my experience with CBC, as soon as it became available and less than $12 million per kilo, we grabbed some up to start working with it, because it offers so many options as far as treating many different things, and also routes of ingestion that it can be used for. It works great topically as well.
Yeah, thank you. And just a reminder for those of you, the reason why we did this live, I posted about CBC in one of our cannabinoid Thursdays over at CBD How on Reddit. And so a few of the members asking, hey, where can we get CBC? And first thing I thought in my head was Georgetown Hemp, because I'm not really out there, talking to people, and I trust Georgetown Hemp, especially the fact that he's been helping me with my pain. And so I wanted to use this opportunity to have him on here to talk to you guys. And to let you guys know, this sells in the store. You can also go to the website and get it there. So yeah, is there a reason why there's two different colors?
So different concentrations, different extraction methods. pH has something to do with color as well. It all depends on what you want from the lab and what you tell them that you want to use it for. Solubility will have something to do with color too, if it's encapsulated with anything, to make it disperse in a product that you're making. So those will vary in viscosity, in color, in potency. I've seen it crystallized. I've seen it in a lot of different forms. We also sell finished product tinctures that are CBC, carried in MCT oil. And then we have the raw ingredients that will work into custom compounds and custom formulations. So you're a customer who is getting a good response from a hemp product or a CBD product, but you feel like there might still be some room for improvement, and there's not a product on the market that is enhanced in the areas that you think you need them to be enhanced in. We can fortify those products with additional ingredients to help more specifically target what you're trying to accomplish. And we've had incredible results putting some really creative compounds together for customers.
Yeah, and so those of you who follow me and know I've been doing it for 4 years, I'm more like, I love science, and I also think about future, right? I'm always thinking about the next 5 to 10 years and where medicine is going. And so one of the things I love, I'm really grateful I met Daniel, is the fact that for me, looking into genetics and where our society is going and where the industry is going, is some point in the future, you're going to be able to check your blood or swab your saliva and say, okay, well, based on your genetics, this is what we recommend having you, this amount of CBD, this amount of THC, this amount of CBC, Delta 8. And so by having a facility here with Georgetown Hemp is a precursor to what's coming, so those of you who really want to start dialing and testing out different formulations, I highly recommend you guys reaching out and talking to his team about where to go, because that's what's coming. That's the future. It's not just CBD. It's not just THC. And I was talking to someone yesterday, right, Daniel, and they were saying that the old stoners, right, from like my grandmother, like my dad smokes a lot, and back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of the flowers they smoked wasn't so potent, right? You had a lot more CBC, especially from strains in the Caribbean, the tropics. They had more CBC in there, so it was able to help them with the stomach aches and all the pains they were dealing with. And like now, everything is about high THC value. So it's wonderful to see where we're going as far as the medicine. And a lot of the older generation are so happy that we have all these different options now because it reminds them of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, and you covered a good point. CBC is probably the second most prevalent cannabinoid that we find in cannabis. It's actually one of three cannabinoids that comes from CBG. So CBG will produce there'll be an enzymatic reaction that will convert the CBG into THCA, into CBDA, and into CBCA. So studies are looking positive for CBC to have as positive of an entourage effect working with other cannabinoids as CBD and THC do together. And they've also found, which I think is one of the more fascinating reasons that I'm enthralled with CBC, is that they discovered that like THC and like CBD, CBC will create neurogenesis, right, which is the creation of new neurons. We probably have heard that saying before that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? Well, we discovered maybe 10, 15 years ago now that the brain has plasticity. At any age, we can still grow our brain and adapt new habits, break old ones, and that creation of new neurons is responsible for that brain growth. So CBC is found to create those neurons at a greater rate than THC and CBD. So a lot of potential for a lot of uses.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let me get to one of the questions real quick before we get back on topic. So Counter King asked about Delta 8. And so I can specifically say that I love it. When I was in DC about a month, maybe 2 months ago, I got a cartridge, and so I've been using it. I can tell you from my experience that Delta 8 is THC, but on that level, I get to feel the buzzing effects initially, but after like 20, 30 minutes, I'm more calm. The pain is reduced a little bit, but I'm gonna get a heavy head high, like the 2-3 hours that I do with Delta 9. And so I know when you talked about this before that there might be a chance that you really think that the government is going to regulate Delta 8?
I think they'd love to. I think it might not be as easy as a lot of people in the industry are suspecting that it'll be, that they'll just pass some edict one day and wipe out our ability to work with it. As you know very well, the 2018 Farm Bill and the DEA's actions with the Controlled Substances Act thereafter removed hemp from the definition of cannabis and descheduled all derivatives and analogs except for anything containing more than 0.3% Delta 9 THC. So Delta 8 THC is a very similar molecule to Delta 9, but it's not Delta 9. So it's kind of been legal by default. As a result, we're seeing it pop up everywhere. So, our goal, the question at Georgetown Hemp is to kind of do our best to be the adults in the room so that therapies like Delta 8 and CBC have a future to be developed and offer more help to more people. And to do that, we have to be very accurate with the products that we sell. Delta 8 is brand new, and we've been through the ringer with it for the past year in sourcing and finding a credible source that knows how to make it and a lab that knows how to test it. Our experience has been that 80% of the Delta 8 that's floating around the industry is hot. It's above the Delta 9 compliancy level. And not necessarily that people are intentionally doing it, but that there's a learning curve that we're going through right now to figure out, how to do this safely. And I think the quicker we get to that point,
the more of a future we have with things like Delta 8 and then Delta 10 and Delta 11 and THCV, you know, hopefully we can act right in the industry so that they don't take our ball and go home, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. For me, it's you know, even though we go through growing pains, it's the fact that we're learning so much more about all the different compounds and how they affect the body. And I know at some point, once, you know, everything's a learning curve, like you said. At some point, the curve will be even, and it's going to be so much available for people. And this is where, you know, those of us in the industry like yourself, who's here at the forefront of, you know, providing really good quality products for people, are the ones, you know, in 10 years going to be like, for me, just bigger, you know? You're going to be, people going to know like, oh, these are the OGs here who's been around experimenting and helping us. And, you know, I love it because I think that as a brand, that's going to speak more, you know, for those in the community. And so Carol asked a really good question here, right? She's asking about CBD and liver, and she gets a headache whenever she uses CBD, and she thinks it's the liver. Before you answer that, so those who don't know, we call it cytochrome P450 enzyme system. For those of you who are medicine and can take grapefruit, it's the same concept. I don't want to say it may be the liver, but it could be the quality of CBD oil on there. Maybe you take another medicine as well that can interact with what you're doing. But we'll have to know more information. Is there anything you can provide, add to that?
Sure. So, firstly, we actually use a database that pharmacies use here that does include cannabidiol to cross-reference for contraindication. So it'll tell us if there are drug interactions with any prescription medication that's prescribed in the United States or Europe. So as long as we don't get 12 million calls after this live, we're happy to do it for people because our goal is CBD safely and hashtag and you know, so that's the first thing that I would say. Let us look into if you have other prescriptions, if they're having interactions at the P450 liver enzyme grouping. The second thing I would say is you mentioned this genetic testing, and it's not cheap, but it actually is available already. So they can take genetic samples by swab, by saliva, and then determine if we are slow, fast, super fast metabolizers of each specific cannabinoid. So you can guide your cannabis therapy in a very accurate way nowadays. So she may be a super slow metabolizer of CBD. So it's essentially staying in her system for longer periods of time and has more opportunity then to have effects. And then the third thing I would ask is, how is she taking, right? Route of ingestion is important. If it's sublingual, I would want to know if she's swallowing it. We're reading more and more studies. Can't say with absolute certainty yet, but that an acidic gut can actually convert CBD to THC, both Delta 8 and Delta 9. So if she's ingesting it, just swallowing it, that could be something that's contributing to the headaches as well. And then regardless of what anyone in the industry wants to say, these are fantastic, versatile therapies, but they're not for 100% of the population. Some people will have, resistance to them.
Breaking up a little bit. I think you froze. Yeah, no worries. I can hear you now. I think the last 30 seconds, I didn't hear. We couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
So I think the last thing I was saying that is that regardless of how safe and versatile phytonutrients are, they're not for 100% of the population. You know, I'm sure every CBD salesperson would like to tell you that you could take this no matter what, under any circumstances. But some people, their chemistry just doesn't match up with it well. So let's check for interactions. Let's look into genetic testing to guide treatment, and let's try different routes of ingestion and see if those headaches get worse or better. And then I'd like to know what the product is. Was it tested for mycotoxins, pesticides, residuals, heavy metals? Those could absolutely be causing headaches.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Carol, please reach out to Georgetown Hemp if you want need help directly, and he'll be able to help you further. So, Turp Nutrition asks, what was the test called? Do you know the name of the test for the genetics?
Let me rack my brain. There was I'll have to look it up. I've actually had one done, so I can send it to you and you can post it after.
That's fair. The ones that know, Sharing Genie is one company I know does it, and Cannabis DNA. But yeah, we'll have to find a really good company and then just post it for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And the person interpreting those results is just as important as the test. You know, that they understand the results and how to guide you from them.
Yeah. But where do you see the future of like all this is going as far as what do you do? You do a lot of custom formulations there. Like, where do you see that going over the next couple of years?
Well, hopefully it makes more people aware that there are more natural options out there. So I see that expanding. I see more qualified professionals starting to offer custom formulations or custom compounding. I mean, we just talked about genetic testing to guide our therapies. That just speaks to how individualized these things need to be. You know, we all are going to have different tolerances and different metabolisms, and so I see us really dialing in on how to more effectively use these products instead of just casting such a wide net, which is what we're kind of doing now. And then I see big developments in delivery and carriers for bioavailability to make more efficient use of the products that we're spending our hard-earned dollars on. And so there's already some cool, exciting tools that we use here that help your body accept, these nutrients more readily. And I think those things are going to be a big part of the future. So delivery system, carriers, I think we haven't seen much development in that, right? We've got water solubles, nanos, we've got encapsulated in different lipids to help us absorb or mix into different things. We've got MCT oil, maybe some hemp seed oil and some olive oil as carriers. That's about it. So lots of options for new things.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. I'm really grateful that you took the time to just come on here and just talk to us. We're gonna keep doing this. Once next month come back around, I'll be doing much more of these on a regular basis. So we'll have opportunities to dive in deep, maybe individual compounds, and just educate the people. So any last, tell people where they can find you, any information you'd like to provide before we leave?
Yeah, sure. So our phone number is pretty easy. 833, the number 4, and then Hemp DC. So you can call us and speak to myself or one of our qualified CBD experts here. You could reach us on any social media platform by just searching Georgetown Hemp. Our website, which is in development by some talented people, is georgetownhemp.com. And I think that's about it. Come check out our retail shop. We're also a wholesale distributor, supplying mostly pharmacies and doctors. Give you a little view of our shop here. We're hemp farmers this year. We're growing our own indoor hydroponic and field hemp in Maryland by the Eastern Shore. We're really excited about that. And we're getting into some processing, and I could talk your ear off for the next 4 hours, as you know, but we do a lot of things. We're really excited to be at the forefront of this industry and have great, partners with the best intentions like you guys. So thank you. I'm here anytime you want to do this, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it so much, man. And yeah, those of you guys, please go support Georgetown Hemp. Ask questions, reach out to them. They make really good products, and I support them, and I'm really grateful. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right. Look forward to seeing all you guys.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was awesome. So if you have any questions, please let Daniel and the team know. I appreciate you guys supporting as always. As you know that I love educating. So those of you who reached out asking any questions about specific topics you'd like us to cover, do some lives. Come September 1st, I'll be back 100%. Just pushing the content, all the lives over at CB.how and all the other platforms like Canaforce. I appreciate you guys continue to support us. Those of you who are looking to learn more about CBD, please get the book CBD for Beginners over at cbd.how/book. Have a beautiful day, guys, and health is wealth. And please remember to always take your CBD. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Have a beautiful day.